Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 15, texts 32 to 40. Since 40 is on the board, we'll read 40 first, and then we'll go back and read from 32 to 40. Text number 40. Kshamaya rochate Lakshmi Brahmishari yata prabha Kshaminamashu bhagavans Tushate Haririshvara. Kshamaya, simply by forgiving. Rochate, becomes pleasing. Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. Brahmi, in connection with Brahminical qualifications. Sari, the sun god. Yata, as. Prabha, the sunshine. Shaminam, unto the Brahmanas, who are so forgiving. Ashu, very soon. Bhagavan, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Tushate, becomes pleased. Hari, the Lord. Ishvara, the Supreme Controller. Translation. The duty of a Brahmana is to culture the quality of forgiveness which is illuminating like the sun. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari is pleased to those who are forgiving. Now I'll start with verse 32 and go all the way. Dvishtva swasainyam yutiraukakarame ranajire rama kutarashayakai Vivik navarma chapa vigraham nipatidam haya apatarusha. By manipulating his axe and arrows, Lord Parshuram cut to pieces the shields, flags, bows, and bodies of Kartavirya-Arjuna's soldiers, who fell on the battlefield, muddying the ground with their blood. Seeing these reverses, Kartavirya-Arjuna, infuriated, rushed to the battlefield. Text 33. Atarjuna pancha shateshu bahibir tanu subanan yukapatsa sandare ramaya ramostra pritam samakarnis tanye katanve bir achinat samam. Then Kartavirya-Arjuna, with his 1,000 arms, simultaneously fixed arrows on 500 bows to kill Lord Parshuram. But Lord Parshuram, the best of fighters, released enough arrows with only one bow to cut to pieces immediately all the arrows and bows in the hands of Kartavirya-Arjuna. Pura sahastar achalam miteng kripam ukshipya vegara vitavato yudhi pujankutarena katora nemina chichetarama prasavam tahe ivam. When his arrows were cut to pieces, Kartavirya-Arjuna uprooted many trees and hills with his own hands and again rushed strongly toward Lord Parshuram to kill him. But Parshuram then used his axe with great force to cut off Kartavirya-Arjuna's arms, just as one might lop off the hoods of a serpent. Kritabaho shirastasya gire shingam ivaharat hate pitaritat putra ayutam juvur vayat agnihotrim upavartya sampardaviraha sam upetya shamam pitre pariklishtan samarpayat. Thereafter, Parashuram cut off like a mountain peak the head of Kartavirya Arjuna, who had already lost his arms. When Kartavirya Arjuna's 10,000 sons saw their father killed, they all fled in fear. Then Parashuram, having killed the enemy, released the Kamadhenu, which had undergone great suffering, and brought it back with his calf to his residence, where he gave it to his father, Jamadagni. Text 37. Swakarma tat kritam rama piche prachi gaevacha varayan asata chitva Jamadagnir avasata. Parashuram described to his father and brothers his activities in killing Kartavirya Arjuna. Upon hearing of these deeds, Jamadagni spoke to his son as follows. Rama Rama Mahabaho Bhavan Papam Makarasit Avadinara Devam Yad Sarvadeva Mayam Vita. O great hero, my dear son Parashuram, you have unnecessarily killed the king, who is supposed to be the embodiment of all the demigods. Thus you have committed a sin. Vayam hi brahmanas tata kshamayarha natam gataha yaya loka guru deva parameshtyam agat param. My dear son, we are all brahmanas and have become worshipable for the people in general because of our quality of forgiveness. It is because of this quality that Lord Brahma, the supreme spiritual master of this universe, has achieved his post. So now back to verse 40. Kshamaya rochate lakshmi brahmi shariyata prabha kshaminam ashibhagavang stushate haririshara. Translation: the duty of a brahmana is to culture the quality of forgiveness, which is illuminating like the sun. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari is pleased with those who are forgiving. Report. Different personalities become beautiful by possessing different qualities. Chanaka Pandit says that the cuckoo bird, although very black, is beautiful because of its sweet voice. Similarly, a woman becomes beautiful by her chastity and faithfulness to her husband, and an ugly person becomes beautiful when he becomes a learned scholar. In the same way, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras become beautiful by their qualities. Brahmanas are beautiful when they are forgiving. Kshatriyas, when they are heroic and never retreat from fighting. Vaishyas, when they enrich cultural activities and protect cows. And Shudras, when they are faithful in the discharge of duties pleasing to their masters. Thus, everyone becomes beautiful by his special qualities. And the special quality of the Brahmana, as described here, is forgiveness. Vakam karati vachalam bhangam lankate girim yakipantavam vande shikaram tirtharanam Om jnana timarandasya gyananjara shakaya chakshuramiditam yena dasai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, should we always forgive, or sometimes should we not forgive? That is the question. I have an example of some policemen who actually forgave who they captured. This was in Russia. It was the devotee book distributors who were distributing books, and the police came and told them, "You cannot distribute books here." So the devotees said to the policeman, "But we have to beat the Americans." And the policeman said, okay, go ahead. So they forgave the devotees in that case. In Mahabharata, Prahlad Maharaj explains when you should forgive and when you should not forgive. This is in Vanaparva. One day, Bali Maharaj came to his grandfather, Prahlad, and asked, which is actually meritorious, forgiveness or the use of strength? Prahlad said, neither forgiveness nor the use of prowess is meritorious in all situations. If one were to always forgive, then his servants, dependents, enemies, and even strangers would disrespect him. When always forgives, then mean-minded servants gradually steal away all his wealth and fail to respond to his commands. On the other hand, one who simply punishes and never forgives soon finds himself without any friends. Indeed, everyone comes to hate such an unforgiving person. And when there is the slightest opportunity, they do something to harm him. Therefore, conclusion is that prowess and forgiveness should be exhibited at the proper times. So what are the proper times? Now Prahlad will explain. The following person should be forgiven. One who has done nice service in the past, even if guilty of a grave fault. Number 2, one who offends simply due to ignorance or folly. Though if you're mad, I guess you forgive him. If somebody is mad. Number 3, one who is a first-time offender. And number 4, one who has committed some wrong against his will. And in addition, other offenders may sometimes be forgiven just to create a good public image. But sometimes you have to compromise. Now, who not to forgive? The following person should not be forgiven. One who has knowingly offended and yet claims to be innocent, even if his offense is slight. Number 2, a second offender, no matter how small his crime. So this is the advice of Prahlad Maharaj, and this is good for those who have to judge people, those who are in that position. Nectar of Devotion defines forgiveness as one who can person who can tolerate all kinds of offenses from the opposing party. So Krishna was the example when he was tolerating the offenses of Shishupala. Now the dictionary says that forgiveness means to give up resentment against, to give up desire to punish, to stop being angry with, to pardon, to overlook. So we are all, as devotees, Vaishnavas, we are supposed to be brahmanas, so we should forgive. So we'll talk about why we should forgive and what happens when you forgive and what happens if you don't forgive. So resentment, so forgiveness means you carry that burden of the thing that the person did against you. You're angry, and anger is a mode of ignorance. But the reality is that we're only punishing ourselves. That Mahatma Prabhu in his seminar on forgiveness, he said that envy is like, or resentment is like drinking poison and hoping the other person will die. So you're drinking, you're having this resentment, and you're hoping that person will get affected, but you're the one that is actually suffering. So a Vaishnava is always ready to forgive. It's a choice. We have to choose that, to forgive. So why should we forgive? First of all, it nourishes your bhakti. Titikshava, tolerance, Prabhupada says, indicates a transcendentalist must be forgiving. The material world is full of embarrassing and irritating situations. Unless one is inclined to be very much forgiving, he'll become infected by a vindictive mentality which spoils one's spiritual consciousness. So Prabhupada, he had a lot of trouble in Bombay, and the neighbors were complaining about the kirtan, that the kirtan is a nuisance. And so Prabhupada was very upset about that, why they're saying kirtan is a nuisance. He said, you know, we don't have to come here and preach, but the deities are here, so now we cannot leave. So why we are coming here to this place? The devotees were saying, you know, it's out of the way, it's in nowhere, it's so far away from the city. But now you see how popular Juhu Temple is. Millions of people come on Janmashtami Day. The Prabhupada says, yes, these people, they don't appreciate it, but we have to come here. That is the mercy. That is titikshava, karanika. So first of all, we should forgive because it nourishes our bhakti. Second of all, we should forgive to avoid misunderstanding. We have to forgive minor incidents because whenever there are two men in one place, there will be some misunderstanding, especially. So number 3, we should forgive because it causes our own suffering. Suniti said to Dhruva, My dear son, don't wish for anything inauspicious for others. Anyone who inflicts pain upon others suffers himself from that pain. So in this story of Parashuram, we will see that what he did to Kartavirya Arjuna will happen to his father also. It will come back. It will come back. He did that, and he will suffer too. He will suffer the same pain that the sons of Kartavirya Arjuna suffered. Now, the verse says here, another reason why we should forgive, it pleases Krishna. Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari is pleased with those who are forgiving. So our whole life is to please Krishna. Everything we do, the purpose is to please Krishna. So Krishna is pleased if you're forgiving. And he is satisfied with the devotee when the devotee greets other people with tolerance, mercy, friendship, and equality. And so we should forgive. Already I've given 4 reasons. Causes our own suffering, avoid misunderstanding, nourishes our bhakti, and pleases Krishna. And it's our duty as a human being to forgive. According to Bhishma Dev, a civilized human being is one who is forgiving. And it's the antidote to anger. In the first canto of the purport, when Bhishma is instructing Yudhishthira how to counteract different problems or bad qualities. To counteract anger, then you must forgive. And there is already enough suffering in this world, so we don't need more pain in this world, therefore we should forgive. And we should value our relationship with Krishna. It's more valuable than our desire to see our enemy punished. And also, it's sometimes we want revenge, and this is also, it will come back on us if we go for revenge. So we want mercy for ourselves, but we want justice for others. So if we do something wrong, then we think, oh, mercy, mercy, mercy. But if somebody else does something wrong, oh, I want justice. That person should be punished. So yeah, we don't understand what this means, to forgive, not to forgive. So what is the opposite of forgiveness, or the cause of why we have to forgive is because we get angry. So anger is sometimes a testimonial of indecision, weakness, inadequacy, defeat, frustration. When we get angry with somebody, then our devotional creeper is stunted. In chapter 5 of Bhagavad-Gita, verse 23, Krishna says, before giving up this present body, if one is able to tolerate the urges of material senses and check the force of desire and anger, he is a yogi and is happy in this world. So if you want to be happy, then you should forgive. So anger, Arjuna said, why are we impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if by force? And so Krishna said that it is lust only, which is born of contact with material motive passion and later transformed into wrath, which is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. So if you think you have enemies, then here's it. It's lust and anger. When lust and hankering are unsatisfied, then anger appears. So what causes anger? We look at other people, and we have some desire to be fulfilled. And we think, other people should respond to my desire. The problem is other people also have desires. And they're thinking, you should respond to their desire. And so we get angry when people don't respond to our desires. And so to rectify this, we need to abandon selfishness. Value other people more. Become more reflective. Because it may be that the qualities we find lacking in other people are in ourselves. So another reason why we get angry, we have a certain standard, we have a certain idea, and if that person doesn't come up to our standard, we get angry. And so the problem is that other people, they're in different situations. They see the world differently. And then thirdly, another reason why we get angry is because we see this person does something and we think that person should change. But there's only one person you can change, and that's yourself. Can't change anyone except yourself, unless you're a pure devotee like Prabhupada. Just glancing, Prabhupada could change. There was one fighter, a boxer, used to come to temple in Germany. And the devotee said, why don't you join us? Why don't you stay here? He said, no, I'm not ready. So then Prabhupada came, and he came to see Prabhupada. And somehow, when Prabhupada was leaving, he was in the front of the crowd. He was pushed, and his face was pressed against the window of Prabhupada's car. And Prabhupada stared at him. And that was it. He said, okay, I'm joining. I said, why? What happened to your boxing? He said, Prabhupada looked at me, and that was it. How can I go back to my boxing? And so that can change you. People like Prabhupada can change you. And so, and sometimes we want revenge, and that's an unhealthy way to act, of course. And sometimes we blame other people. We see things in black and white, and we'll blame another person if something strays from our narrow vision. We think, it should be like this. Why is that person not like this? And we get angry. And sometimes we think we understand somebody's mind. We think we're mind readers. And we'll put labels on the person, and we'll say, oh, you're useless, you're lazy, you're this. And we'll blame them. And then we'll get angry when they don't do what we think they should do. Unless you have mystic powers, then you shouldn't read minds. And if somebody disturbs us, then we sometimes exaggerate. We make generalizations. And we say, oh, this always happens, you always act like this. You can't understand, you don't hear me, you don't listen. We say things like that when we get angry. And we exaggerate the situation. It's not really like that. And sometimes somebody behaves according to how we don't think they should behave. And then, of course, we label that person again. So what's the effects of if you're angry? Research has been done on some lawyers that angry people are 4 times more likely to die prematurely, have greater rates of heart disease, hypertension, ulcers, hardening of the arteries, and cancer. I have a book by Louise Hay, and she says the cause of cancer is resentment. If it eats you, just like cancer eats you. When you're angry with someone and you hold it, it eats you. And it goes from subtle to gross. So that's another reason why you should forgive. And then social disturbances, if you're always angry and not forgiving, people will avoid you, will hinder your ability to communicate and express yourself. And it creates the opposite of what we want. So for people on the spiritual path, anger is suicidal. There is a beautiful verse in 11th canto, 4th chapter, verse 11. Here is the verse. Although crossing the ocean of sense gratification, those who perform severe penances without service to the Lord eventually drown in tiny puddles of anger. You may be a great yogi, you may be a great devotee, but if you get angry with someone, then you will drown in tiny puddles of anger. And this happens to yogis sometimes, we see. And if you just do penances, if you do austerities and don't purify your heart, then it won't work. So you may stop your senses, you may restrict your senses, but your heart is filled with material desires. And then anger, from lust comes anger. So what can we do to avoid these things? What can we do for prevention? Avoid selfishness. Understand somebody else's point of view. Understand their actions, their pain, their hurt, their needs. It's not just being right. Sometimes, even if you're right, that doesn't mean you have to force yourself to be right. Better you forgive and let the other person be right. And you should, second thing, so avoid selfishness, avoid assumptions. Don't judge people. Be careful if you jump to conclusions. I remember I did this one time at airport. There was one man, he was on the phone. He was really impassioned, and he was very loud on the phone. And I thought, oh, I bet he's a drug dealer. So then what happened, I got next to this man in the line to board the airplane. And the man came up to me and he said, "Can I help you with your luggage?" I thought, oh boy. Don't make assumptions. Don't judge people. You don't know what they're going through in their heart. And the last thing you can do, change yourself so you can help others. What changes do I need to make in my own life so I can encourage that change in someone else? Be an example. What you want to see in others. Gita, in the 10th chapter, verses 4, 5 purport, Prabhupada says, one should practice tolerance and forgive the minor offenses of others. So Prabhupada was in Delhi one time. And he was away from Delhi, and there was one man who was taking his letters, his correspondence for him. But that man was stealing all the donations from Prabhupada's letters. People were sending donations. So they found out, and the disciples said, what shall we do? Shall we arrest him, send him to the police? Prabhupada said, there's only one thing to do. Forgive him. Well, that was Prabhupada. And he said, another time he said, if I don't forgive you, then Krishna will. And if Krishna doesn't forgive you, Radharani will. So we should practice. And this will help us. This will help us in our spiritual life. So I'll stop here. If there's any questions or comments, you can ask at this point. Yes?
In the 7th canto, Prahlad Maharaj, the history of Narayani and Prahlad, and he's asking, what have you learned? And he started saying, Shravan, Kirtan, Vishnu, Smana.
Yeah, right.
And so the father became very upset and killed him immediately. He was so angry. And it says that one needs the guru to become free from all these things. But if Krishna doesn't pick you, or it says that Krishna, he understands who's coming, who's not coming. It's a little bit bewildering to understand that. I mean, maybe is Krishna giving us the selective mercy to certain people and giving that protection to certain people, and those who don't want to know Krishna, he's allowing them to forget and not forgive. So is forgiveness coming from Krishna, and is that just from an intellectual adjustment inside our own heads?
But where is forgiveness coming from? That's your question.
Roundabout way.
Yeah. Yeah, well, according to Bhagavad-Gita, chapter 13, there's a list of qualities. Knowledge. What is the process of knowledge? And in that process of knowledge, it describes that bhakti, devotional service to Krishna, if you just do this one thing, then all the other qualities will come. So that's Prabhupada's purport. So according to Srila Prabhupada's purport there, these qualities come from performing devotional service, because that purifies the heart. Now, Hiranyakashipu wasn't doing devotional service. So he was definitely under the control of the modes. According to Bhagavad-Gita, again, 6th chapter, verse 6, we have enemy, our mind is our friend and our enemy. So Prabhupada says, if you don't do devotional service, if you don't serve Krishna, then you will serve lust, anger, greed, illusion, lust, anger, greed, illusion, and madness and envy. So Hiranyakashipu was serving those 6 qualities. His mind was his enemy. And Prahlad did tell him at one point that there is only one enemy in this world, and that's your mind. He told his father that. He told him that. So yeah, it's coming. So Hiranyakashipu, it's coming from the mind, which is under the control of the modes of material nature. The lust, that anger is coming, that forgetfulness. And the other is coming, the good qualities are coming from devotional service. It's divine qualities. Divine qualities. Any more question? Yes.
Right. Mother, as you said, that tolerance is more important. So sometimes we see there are so many difficulties coming, and we are tolerating. And if we tolerate and we see that Krishna is giving us mercy. So the main objected how we should learn to tolerate.
How should we learn to tolerate? What's the process of learning to tolerate? Forgiveness. Forgiveness is the process. And if you want to learn how to forgive, you can go online and see Mahatma's seminar on forgiveness. There are exercises. You take the person who's offended you, and you pray for them, and you shower flowers. I mean, there's so many things you do.
Can we beat them up first?
Huh?
Can we beat them up first, then pray?
You beat them up first, then then you have to beg forgiveness. Yes, Panchagoda is asking, can't we beat them up first?
Don't say that.
Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have repeated that one. But yeah, it does help because it's like another analogy is when you don't forgive, it's like holding hot potatoes in your heart, and it's just burning. It's burning your heart. It's eating up your body, and so we have to forgive. Of course, Lord Chaitanya did not forgive when Madhai was attacking Nityananda. So if somebody else attacks a devotee, then you should not forgive. Then you can beat him up. Yes, anger to protect the devotees. Anger. Yeah, Hanuman used anger, and he was fighting, and Arjuna used anger, he was fighting. So there's a time and place. Those who are Kshatriyas should not forgive. They should not. Arjuna wanted to forgive, and Krishna said no. Arjuna, at the beginning of Gita, he said, it's okay, it's all right, I forgive them.
Ashwatthama too.
Yeah.
Ashwatthama.
Yeah, they forgave Ashwatthama.
Krishna said kill him.
Yeah, Krishna said kill him. And so Arjuna wanted to forgive the opposite party beginning a battle, and Krishna had to preach to him, no, you got to fight, you have to kill them. In fact, even if you don't kill them, they're already dead. I already killed them. So you just have to take the credit for that.
Suppose you forgive him, but that person, he has stubborn and he doesn't want to listen that you are forgiving him, and he is stubborn. So how we should understand this?
Yeah, you take it to the authorities when it doesn't work for you. If personally you cannot...
That's when I beat him up.
Yeah, take it to Panchagoda if you got a problem. And Prabhupada said, if you got a problem, go to Balaram.
Something to add.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
You can comment it also. So, of course, in our line, we see how hard that's not poor.
Right.
He was being beaten in the marketplace.
Right.
And the people became disturbed. The people beating him became disturbed.
Yeah, the people beating him were disturbed.
If you don't die, the king's going to punish us.
Right.
Can you imagine such? And Haridas says, okay.
How he died.
Because, somebody that advanced, there's no offense to them anyway. They're never offended. So where's the question of them having to forgive?
Yeah.
You can't offend them.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Christ said the same thing.
He's being hung. He could easily just mystic power.
Yeah.
So many things.
Right.
So I think it comes down to a question of love. If you have love, then nobody's offended. Like
Yes.
the mother and the child
Your mother and
screaming,
Yeah.
some things, and the mother never gets offended
Yeah.
at all, just because
Yeah.
she has love for the child. So I guess because, at least myself, there's not much love, too selfish. Therefore, I have to learn to forgive, because my desire is always being interrupted by others.
Right.
When you have love, there's a question of forgiveness.
Yeah, exactly. If you love someone. And Brahma, that was his argument to Krishna for forgiving him. He was begging forgiveness for stealing away his friends and the calves. And one of his arguments was, I'm just like a child in your womb. Your mother saw the whole universe inside in your belly. So I'm in your belly too. So I'm your child. So therefore, if I kick you, then the mother doesn't take offense. So yeah, Krishna forgives. Krishna forgives sometimes. He didn't forgive the core of us.
Forgive. He's a liberator.
Yeah, they got liberation. That's Bhagavatam says. They got liberation. The Kauravas got liberated when Krishna glanced at them. He reduced on the battlefield, Krishna glanced at them, it says in Bhagavatam, and then their duration was shortened, duration of lives. And they saw Krishna at the time of death, so they went to the spiritual world. Saw Krishna. Yeah, any other questions? Yes.
You said that when we lose when we get angry, we get angry. We get angry, and we get angry because somebody is agitating us.
Yes.
So sometimes what happens? Somebody keeps on agitating, and we are not getting angry, and his level of this, he gives us more agitation. So until we don't get angry. And sometimes they harm us also in the form. And the harm also keeps on increasing because we are not agitating. So what should we do with that? Because this mood is to agitate.
Good question. Forgiving doesn't mean that you keep tolerating the person. You have to avoid that person, avoid the association. And abuse, you should not tolerate abuse. That's a time when... But after you get out of that abuse, then you can forgive. But not while the person is abusing. You should not forgive that. And Krishna saw that the Kauravas were abusing the Pandavas in so many ways. And so he didn't forgive them. But Mahabharata, on the other hand, says, if you tolerate somebody who is angry at you, you'll get all their good qualities and they'll get all your bad qualities. So... But not continuously, that's not what forgiveness means. Any other questions? Yeah? Jai, O glory to Prabhupada, Hare Krishna.